Oops. Yep, that was my phone. Like, I love breaking things. Just the phone. Okay, giving it just a minute. There we go. I love breaking things. Alrighty, awesome sauce. So, hi everybody. Welcome to our I forgot what we even called it. Crash course into chakras. So thank you all for joining. We've got a couple people who dialed in, so we're going to give it just a few minutes. We're just going to let a couple more people trickle in, and then we're going to officially get started. Is that okay with you, Lauren?
Yes. Welcome, everybody. Thank you all for being here. I'm so excited.
Okay. I'm going to add one more person as moderator, but for some cat snatching reason, it's not letting me, which is really disrespectful. Hold on. Like, really? Tallulah, how can I add you officially as a moderator? I'm right-clicking on you, and it's not letting me. It's not letting me do it. That's so annoying. Hi, Larry girl. Hi, Five Paces. Hi, Queen. Thank you guys so much for joining in. Hello, Christine. Just going to give it one more minute, for me to figure out how to navigate. It's not letting me do it. And then we'll just give it a few more minutes for people to join in, and then we'll get started.
I think Mercury was retrograde or something.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like, okay, let's just be disrespectful today. No big deal. No big deal. Let me see. Guys, give me just one moment. Awesome, guys. While I am messing around with settings, I'm just going to do a quick introduction. So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to a crash course into chakras. This is just a really informal session. I'm going to have a ton of fun with my dear friend, and I consider her a mentor and teacher, my great friend, Lauren. We're going to do this in two parts. So today it's going to be part one, obviously, right? We're going to do just a really basic level. If you've never heard of chakras before, this will be great. You'll get to learn what a chakra is. If you are slightly familiar with it, this is also great too, because we're going to go over a few more details that you may not know, including like what your chakra should feel like when it's in its most balanced state. Why am I grumpy some days of the week? Or why do I feel all moody when I'm around my family? Well, that could be part of your root chakra, right? So we're going to go into those kind of details. We're also going to talk about foods. Lauren is a yoga teacher, so yoga poses that can also help kind of break up, you know what I'm saying? Get that flow going for you. And then we'll also take some questions at the end. So today we're going to go through the first four chakras, right? Yes, we're going to start from the root, go to the heart, and then tune in next week. So next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. And we're going to continue with the heart chakra because that's really the most crucial. I don't know, Lauren, what do you say? Like, I think
definitely agree. Yeah.
The most crucial chakra, right?
It is. Yes.
Go from the root and go all the way up to the crown. So literally for free, you get from the Ruta to the Tuta learning lesson on all of your chakras. So first things first, who is this beautiful woman with me? This is Lauren. So Lauren, can you please introduce yourself, talk about all the kick-ass stuff that you do, and how you got into energy healing?
Absolutely. So my name is Lauren Margolies. Thank you so much for having me here. This is such an honor. And, quarantine, there's been so much crazy chaos, but also all these like awesome things keep happening like this. So I'm trying to continue the gratitude of like the good things that are coming out of this chaotic time. But I am a yoga and meditation teacher, and I've been teaching for about 7 years. And I've been a practitioner for probably 17 years, so a long time. And yoga is my sanity. It is what brings me clarity. It's what keeps me from kicking people's asses when I go out into the world. It is like what keeps me grounded. And the more that I started to study yoga over the years, the more I recognized that I was able to kind of tap into this place of calm. And the meditation practice came a little bit later, but it came through the yoga practice. And when I started to learn about chakra healing and chakra energy, it really helped me to deepen both of my practices. So my yoga practice and my meditation practice were greatly affected by learning about the chakra energy system. And so a lot of the meditation that I do teach is chakra-based meditation, where I help other people access a better awareness of their own energetic body, because the more that we understand kind of how we process energy and information, the more we can recognize when we're feeling a little bit out of balance and how to kind of adjust and, shift our sails so that we can be better prepared to kind of move in a positive, clear direction. So it's a work in progress, and every day is different. And I know we're starting with the root, and something that I just want to kind of touch on is the situation that we are all moving through right now on the planet is affecting everybody's root chakra, because, root chakra is all about safety and security, and everybody's feeling a lack of that right now. So this is a really important time to better understand your chakra energy system, because you can really utilize the tools that we're going to help explain to help you navigate what's happening right here, right now. So I'm really excited that we're doing this now.
You give me goosebumps. That's absolutely true. A few things to you guys. If you are not subscribed to Lauren, I'm actually putting her YouTube channel in the link. So there you guys go. Lauren, like I said, she's also a Reiki practitioner. Are you Reiki level 2?
Well, my Reiki level 2 was supposed to be 2 weeks ago.
It happens.
It happened.
It happened.
At some point, I mean, the one thing I'll say is when I got my level 1, there was such a recognition of the fact that I've already been utilizing Reiki energy. The attunement took it to a whole other level, and I can't wait to do the next level. But I'm excited to already have that energy as part of my practice.
Yeah, so just check her out. She does actually how I met Lauren was can you believe it's been 3 years?
It's insane.
3 years ago at Dallas Yoga Center when I lived in Dallas, she did a sound meditation. So, and I just was like, don't do myself this. She's my new friend. She just doesn't know it yet.
We were meant to be friends.
Thank you so much for joining in. So we're going to do a couple different things, guys. First, like Lauren said, we're going to start with the root chakra, and we're going to work our way up through the heart chakra. Couple of things we're going to go through. Actually, go ahead and do that. Let's get started. So you guys who are part of my channel, who watch me with Tallulah's Tarot, who watched me with Tarot's Apprentice, you guys see me do this all the time when I pull up these cards. I'm not pulling these cards today. I'm just using this as a visual so we can walk you through what your energetic body looks like. So Lauren, can you do me a favor? Can you very quickly just give us an overview of what the energetic body even freaking is? Because a lot of people are like, what? What's an energetic body?
So in yogic terms, there's the physical body, there's the mental body, there's an emotional body, there's an energetic body. There's all of these different layers of how we are created as consciousness. And our energetic body runs from the root, which is the base of the spine, all the way up through the crown of the head. And the energetic body connects us to our higher level of consciousness, and it also connects us to the planet that we live on. But it's where we allow those energies to flow through us. And the different energetic centers are running up and down the spine. In the yogic awareness, there's also something called nadis, and nadis are these channels that run through different parts of our body that carry energy into different parts of our body. So there are some systems that also recognize that we have chakra energy in our hands and the soles of our feet. So it's not only in the spine, the energy runs out through our entire body, but the centers are energetically aligned through our spinal column.
There you have it. You guys can log off now. We just taught you about the energetic body. Beautiful. Thank you. Beautiful explanation. So let's actually just go ahead and let's just get started. So let's actually start with this bottom one, which is the root chakra. The root chakra, some people call it the base chakra. The Sanskrit name is actually the Muladhara. Mm-hmm. So what does this red color mean? Where is it located? And what is all of this, right? So let's just do some quick, what I want to call 5 facts about the root chakra. So the root chakra is actually at your sacrum. It's at the base of your spine. So when you're actually sitting level in a chair, when Lauren was saying earlier, you're connected to ground and to earth. When you're sitting in a chair, guess what happens? That's actually now aligning you to earth, to Mama Earth, to grounding. So that's why that root chakra is located right there near your delegates, near the sacrum, right? What's interesting about our energetic body is it actually develops over the course of our life. Mm-hmm. They call it the 7-year cycle. So the first kind of 7 years you go, then the next 7 years, quote unquote, you develop so you go higher up through your chakras and you develop. Well, what happens after you reach 7 times? 7 is what, 40 something? Like 42, that's not right. 49. Guess what? You start over again and you go through another 7-year cycle through what we call our midlife crisis up through basically until we expire out of this meat suit that we call a body and ascend higher. Okay. So the root chakra, again, this is what is our home of this is our base, our home of survival. This is actually the home of our home. Our root chakra starts developing anywhere from, there's different, depending on whose modality you study, anywhere from the moment your mother found out, even before your mother found out she was pregnant with you, all the way to the age of 7. There's some that also say it develops from conception to 18 months. So really there's kind of there's really no golden rule. There is one exception, is that there is some magic to 18 months. Why is that 18 months important? Well, think about it. That's really when you're starting to move around. Most children are a little bit more mobile. They're walking around. You're able to kind of grab. You're at a conscious level where you're like, hey, I know bed. I know this. I know home. You're starting to recognize things in your environment. Hence, this being the center of home. There's also your center of your finances. So when people feel finances, security. This is also your home of your family. It does not necessarily need, yes, it is your mother, father, whoever you were growing up with, but this is also can be your community family. And most importantly, going back to what Lauren says, your root chakra also is your house of fear. Mm-hmm. Why is that so important, Lauren? Because you were talking about why we're really tapped in, why we're all struggling with our root chakra right now. But tell us more about the fear aspect of it.
Right. So our sense of connection to the world is what allows us to be able to move into our other areas in a connected sense of equilibrium. So when we start to have this disconnect in the root chakra, it affects the whole system, which all of the chakras are interconnected. But to me, the root can be the most important to keep us moving energy through the other spaces. And it's interesting because I think in the yoga world, if you're familiar with the yoga world at all, a lot of people in the past used to really talk about wanting to get into their crown, which we'll get into next week, but that's about tapping into a higher consciousness. And for me, it's much more about rooting in our own bodies, because if we're not grounded and connected in our own bodies, where can you go from there? You can't move on from there. So our root chakra is what gives us a sense of trust in the world. It's what gives us a sense of feeling, connected to ourselves so that we can then move through the other energy centers in a more balanced way. So when we're feeling this sense of insecurity that we are all experiencing, even those of us with these practices. We may be feeling it on a lesser, gradation of what other people are feeling, but everybody is experiencing it right now because the whole world is shifting.
It is. When you don't know if you're going to have your job tomorrow.
Exactly.
That's your finances. That's your root chakra.
100%.
If you are tired of being in your house all day, guess what? That's your root chakra.
Absolutely. And health is also root chakra. So our own body's health is number one chakra. Like you have to have, your root has to be connected and grounded to feel that sense of security with health. And everybody is struggling with that right now based on what's happening in the world. So there's a lot of upheaval that's coming up. And what happens when we experience, you touched on the fact that these chakras are formed throughout our childhood. And so certain areas may have certain aspects that we've dealt with throughout our childhood. But when other elements come up later in life, it starts to it re-triggers our trauma. So even though the trauma that we're experiencing is current, we're also experiencing past trauma. Something else that I want to say that I think is important to consider, you said some people consider it from conception or even preconception. Mm-hmm. Something that's been coming up in my awareness is the idea of epigenetics, which I know I've talked about in classes with you before. And it's not just about what our life experience is, but it's about the cellular memory of what our ancestors have experienced.
Yes.
And that is coming up. Yeah. Yes.
Go ahead. No, trauma, for those who don't know, I'm about to get into something heavy, but we're already talking about something heavy, so fuck it, let's do it. Trauma lives in the molecular level. Yes. Trauma is passed down through DNA. So when there's certain events that happen to large groups of people, so when you think about the Holocaust, when you think about slavery, that is embedded in DNA because it is so traumatic, and it passes down from generation to generation to generation. It just happens. I'm carrying molecular DNA from my mom's trauma, from my grandmother's trauma years ago, things that they didn't even know about. That's just what happened. So that's why it's so important to have this awareness, this alignment, and to know that you can break the curse.
Yes. Yes. And I thank you for saying that, because I do think that when we get into a topic that's heavy like this, with the choices that we make affect the future generations, whether we have children or not. It affects the future consciousness of the world. And we have a choice to make in what we do with that epigenetic awareness. We can choose to right those wrongs and live in a way that's authentic to help us move past it.
I have a question for you, Lauren. I noticed when, for those of you who are not aware, I'm a Reiki master. So not only, like Lauren, can go help and help people heal themselves, heal their chakras through their own energy. I actually teach others how to be Reiki practitioners. One thing that is common, not only do I notice with students, with clients, but also with myself, if you have any childhood trauma, if you had any trauma in childhood, and it could be whether you moved around a lot, excuse me, whether you had a childhood illness, or there's any kind of physical, sexual, emotional abuse as a child, you are going to constantly struggle with your root chakra unless you do the work.
Yes.
Have you noticed that with just classes trying to work with?
Absolutely. I have noticed that, and I very much believe it. And, there are ways that you can kind of ground your energy, which I'll touch on right now, because what has been one of my lifelines right now is walking outside with my bare feet and walking in the grass. And I know that for some people sounds crazy, but they've actually done studies on the ions that we receive from the earth. And when your feet are touching the dirt, they're touching the grass, you are receiving this beneficial energy that helps to make you feel grounded. So I have been every day going outside, no shoes on, no socks, walking in the grass and trying to readdress that. Because the thing about all of these energy centers we all are going to have places where we require a little bit more attention, but they're shifting day to day, and you have to be consciously tuned in to you have to keep doing the work is really what it comes to.
There's another one too. And I've said this before on this channel and other channels. Another thing that helps, and you guys are going to think I'm freaking nuts, but I swear it works. If you cannot, like I live in a city, so I can't just go walk in the grass.
Right.
I mean, I can, but God knows with dog food and the cephalitis I'm stepping on. I tell people, touch a tree.
Yes.
Literally touching a tree.
Yes.
Put your energy into something that is rooted into Mama Earth. And so when I lived in downtown Dallas, again, I couldn't walk barefoot in downtown Dallas. And I'd be at my office building all day. Like, I need to get out. I need to ground myself. So on my way home, because I could walk home, I would touch trees. And so I was known as the crazy tree lady because I'm touching trees. But it helped. It helped me connect with Mother Earth. It helped me just take a moment, put my hand on my heart, just breathe, and really center myself before going home. So I made sure I didn't take my work BS home with me into my house.
Yes.
While we're talking about ways to kind of work through and heal our chakras, I know we've given you a lot of information and you're like, well, great, I'm screwed if I have childhood trauma. I'm already screwed because, coronavirus and it's the root chakra. You guys, like we said, you can help heal yourselves and heal your own chakras. Yes, you can go to us energy healers, but there's simple things you can do in your daily life that will help. So things like wearing the color red. Again, the Muladhara, the root chakra, the base chakra is this beautiful color red. Mm-hmm. I wear a Buddhist red bracelet often to kind of help ground me. There are things you can do. Also, if you're into crystals, garnet, hematite, onyx is great because remember the root chakra is an earth element. So get those crystals in. If you like essential oils, and Lauren is your girl because she is the essential oil queen. I've unfortunately given her a lot of my money before. No, it's fortunate. It's okay.
They're so good. You can never have too many.
Never have too many. If you are into essential oils, I love sandalwood. That's my favorite because it's not offensive.
Yeah. Sandalwood is the one I brought for root.
Sandalwood. My least favorite is Palo Santo. It just doesn't resonate with me, but it's a great. Lauren has an elixir I made with Palo Santo, and I was like, "This."
I used it all.
I'll need to give you some more. Give it to her. Cedar. So there are things you can do. Diffuse oils in your house that will help, guys. Also, Eat the Rainbow wasn't just about body health. It was also about energetic health. Yes. It's no coincidence that these guys are the same colors as a lot of the foods we need to eat. So eat crimson color foods. Get your beets, get your strawberries, your radishes, tomatoes, and chilies, believe it or not, are really good. Lauren, two things we definitely need to make sure we're covering.
Yeah.
What are some characteristics of your root chakra when it's in its most balanced state?
Okay, so when it's in its most balanced state, you feel a sense of good health, you feel a sense of vitality, you feel a sense of stability, you're comfortable in your body in a way where you can kind of move freely and you don't feel restricted. There's a sense of trust. Prosperity can be a sign where you recognize the energetic flow of money and you kind of let go of those money issues that a lot of people have, which is another one that's, sometimes is a work in progress. And just the ability to really be able to relax and be grounded and calm. That's when we're balanced. If you're able to, access those points, then you're in a good spot with the root.
You are. And to the contrary of that, if in its imbalanced state, you're going to be more fatigued. You're going to feel greedy and to the point of selfish because you're always going to be concerned of, do I have enough? Yes. You're not going to have that abundance mindset. You're going to have a scarcity mindset. Laziness. So if you're just like, I can do it, but I really don't feel like it. I don't care. That's kind of another thing. Some other physical things you guys should be aware of. Varicose veins is another sign of an unstable root chakra. And also diarrhea, some digestive issues is another physical sign of, hey, something's kind of off. How am I feeling today? Am I grounded in my root chakra? So a few things for you guys to look out for. Next, we're going to go up to this beautiful orange color, which is the sacral chakra, also known as the Svadhisthana. Love saying this word. Lauren, can tell us about like the ages of when this is developed and what this house is. What are some of the things that are involved in the sacral chakra?
Yeah, so the sacral chakra, first of all, the color for that is orange because the colors move in a rainbow set. So we're moving to orange. The sacral plexus sacral plexus is around our lower abdominal region. So it's associated with our sexual organs, whether you're a man or a female.
Sure
That
is.
is that is the space, and there is so much tied to that energetically.
So
It's
much.
mind blowing.
Yeah.
It's formed around, the way that I do the ages, the 7-year thing is different than the way that I've been taught, but typically like toddlerhood. So when what you said, if we do the 18-month aspect.
I always did it from 2. I'm with you. Always did it 2 up, but a lot of books really focus on the age of 7, which
right. And because there's 7 chakras, and so for each one 7. I mean, I understand that also, but I do feel like we form those energies to me earlier than by 7. I think our personalities are kind of formed, and so I think a lot of this is already kind of happening, but things shift. So that's one thing I also want to touch on, that even as our childhood helps to form these centers, the centers are malleable. They are not, it's not just stagnant. Energy is shifting and moving based on what's happening in our lives, based on what's happening in the world. But the sacral plexus, the element is water. So our first one was the earth, grounding. This one is the element of water. And so it's like, when you think about that kind of, the sexual organs, it's that creative energy. It's that ability to be fluid. It's that ability to be a creative being, which I think is really important to touch on the fact that as humans, we are all creative beings. I'm going to say that again. We are all creative beings. So you don't have to be an artist. You do not have to be a painter to be a creative being. Maybe your form is singing. Maybe it's movement. Maybe it's dancing. There's so many ways that we create. Maybe you create spreadsheets and you don't think of yourself as creative.
But that's creative. You're doing something.
Exactly. Yeah. It's creating something. And so when we associate with the sacral plexus, this is, of course, our center of birth, as it's associated with the sexual organs. But birthing does not mean having children. Just like with the root chakra, you don't have to have children to birth things. You can birth art projects. You can birth a book. You can birth a song, a poem, a meal. Maybe cooking is your creative outlet. So we all have creative expression. Mm-hmm. And our sacral plexus is where that energy resides and flows.
Something too I wanted to go back to that you were saying, we're talking about ages. Something too that I always tied the age of 2 to our sacral chakra, because also when you think about it, that is because this is also your house of emotions and your ability to kind of express your emotions. At the age of 2 is really when you're like, yes, no, I want.
True.
You're starting to kind of vocalize like what you want, even if it's just grabbing something. So that's when you're starting to kind of play with colors and so that's a really crucial age to kind of start thinking about how all this is playing together and why that's such a key thing.
Yes. And around that age, you have no hesitation in your movement. You move the way that feels good in your body. Yeah. You express yourself in a way you don't care what other people think. You are just doing what feels good to you as a being. And that is what we're always trying to get back to in adulthood, that like ability, which if you get there, let me know.
This is not my chakra. No.
I feel you, sister. I mean, this is where I have work to do always. It's like, perpetual. And I think for so many women, I think it's a space of, where we all need a little bit of work. So
it is. And I'm going to get very personal for a second. So as energy healers, we can work on ourselves, but we tend to go to other energy healers to help. And so I have a couple that I really trust, and they just worked on me for years. And the last big session I had, she was like, what is going on in your sacral? And I was like, well, just got diagnosed with endometriosis, got a couple other things. She's like, no, I'm not necessarily talking about your actual reproductive health. Like, what? There's like 5 little children in there screaming, like they need to create something, get out and create, get out and do. And I was like, oh, yeah. I should probably do that. But go back to why this is such a hard thing for women.
So a lot of times, we are, and I hate to overgeneralize because I mean, everyone's life situation is different, but a lot of times for a lot of women, we are kind of told to, sit there and be quiet. And we are told to kind of, our needs are not as high of a priority as somebody else's needs. And we are taught to be the caretakers and give our energy to other people in a way that, detracts from our own nourishment. And so sometimes we have this sense of guilt, which I think a lot of times the guilt is associated with the sacral. And we allow that guilt to kind of take away from our own ability to nourish our own creative elements and recognize the importance of filling our own cup. And I love that analogy for the sacral plexus because it comes back to water. And if you don't have a full cup, you cannot pour into somebody else's glass. So it's like, if you're not doing that self-care, you're really giving from an empty place and it's not beneficial for anybody.
Right. So in its most balanced state, you're going to feel energetic. You're going to feel creative. You're going to feel passionate. And another thing too, is you're going to also feel connected to sexuality. And I'm not saying as it's in a textbook on a spectrum, but actually more sensual. You're going to feel more of a sensual, that connection to there. Lauren, what is it like when it's out of balance?
So when it's out of balance, sometimes there's, sexual trauma that we put on ourselves. Over sexualizing ourselves can be, when you're out of balance, you're trying to fill that void. It can be a lack of creative energy. You can be all work, no play, and that can be a deep sign of imbalance. It can be emotional abuse in some ways, where we allow others to emotionally abuse us, or we emotionally abuse ourselves, which I think it can also be really common. Sometimes we are the hardest on ourselves.
That is so true. If you guys, I'm looking at some of you in the chat. I know some of you. Next time you're a little hard on yourself, go, wait a minute. How's my sacral chakras that align right now?
Right.
And keep going. This is good.
Yeah. So I think fear of change can be, where we're we feel stuck. We feel scared of shifting, which that is something that I've been noticing for this element, that all my work on my sacral plexus has been so beneficial for what's happening right now, because I'm feeling this ability to really flow with the day-to-day shifts that are happening. And that has been like such a powerful awareness for me, like knowing that like, okay, you just have to kind of roll with things as they shift and change, because change is part of our human experience.
It's inevitable. Sorry.
Change. I mean, that's the saying, and it's totally legitimate. So being okay with change is a sign of being more imbalanced, but avoiding pleasure in lots of different ways is another sign of an imbalance, not wanting to. Yeah.
Here are some things you guys can work on to help balance and bring your sacral chakra back into balance, okay?
Yeah.
So surround yourself with the beautiful color orange, as we were saying. If you love gems and crystals, bloodstone and red jasper are 2 very good stones. Also, for essential oil lovers out there, cinnamon, jasmine, ylang, and bergamot are really good. And then eating the rainbow, again, going with, papaya, oranges, mango. Pumpkin lovers, get your pumpkin spice lattes in a couple months. Cantaloupe, honey. These are just really good foods to kind of help stimulate feelings, your emotions, feeling worthy, and just creating that abundance and getting that chakra.
Yes. I also think drinking water. For all of them, but it's like when you just recognize the fluidity within yourself and you kind of let it flow through, it helps to access that internal connection.
Yeah, that's so deep. Let's go to our next chakra, which is my favorite chakra. this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful yellow color right here. So this is what we call the solar plexus chakra, also known as the Manipura. This is our home of power, particularly willpower. Okay. A couple things you really want to note about your personal power: your courage, excitement, motivation, and just your vital energy is really tied into your solar plexus chakra. There's also a little spoiler alert coming for you guys next week. Your solar plexus chakra is also highly connected in a lot of ways to your third eye chakra. When you have a gut feeling about something, that is your willpower telling you, hold on, wait a minute. Something's about to happen. And it's trying to tap into your third eye chakra. So here's another thing too. Again, some textbooks say this is developed anywhere from the age of 13, because if you're doing your sevens, anywhere from 13, 14 to 21. I have always said that it's somewhere around the age of 5 is when you really start developing, because that's also when you're around school age. There's something about that school age that helps kind of pull your willpower together. Because think about it. Are you going to be the one that stands in line when the teacher tells you to go in line, or are you going to be the rebel? Right. So that kind of ties into your solar plexus chakra. Another reason why this is one of my favorite chakras, because this is the one that I'm constantly working on. This is also the one too that I feel just in general, a lot of people, I hate to say this, it's going to sound ugly, but I'm going to be true. This is the chakra where you either are very overcharged or very undercharged. And I feel like it's 9 times out of 10, it's hard to find people who just naturally have that perfectly balanced solar plexus. What do you think, Lauren?
So true. It's so true. It's so damn true. It really is. And what I seem to find the older I get is sometimes the ones who are overcharged are acting like they're overcharged, and it's really, there's a sense of deficiency and they're masking. And I think that's 9 times out of 10, that seems to be energetically what's happening, where they're trying to be boastful in a way that makes them seem really sure of themselves. And then it's really just a kind of cover for a lack or a deficiency. It's not always the case, but it does seem to happen more often than not.
It truly does. I have worked with clients who just, especially if they're victims of abuse, really, really struggle. And it's so heartbreaking with their solar plexus chakra, their ability to just have a will. And I'm not talking about actually doing and having that, being aggressive and assertive, but actually mentally, spiritually, emotionally recognizing that you actually have a choice.
Right.
You can do or not do. And that's very hard for someone who has experienced any kind of trauma. I have worked with 60-year-old women who regressed completely in their solar plexus chakra because of a divorce that they had when they were 49 years old. So there are different things that can really throw your solar plexus out of balance. Lauren, what are some other key things to note when your solar plexus is out of balance?
So when your solar plexus is out of balance, it comes down to a potential either over sense of confidence, like we talked about, or a lack of confidence, where there's a lack of willpower. You are not accountable to yourself, not accountable to other people. And shame can come back in this space also, just like in the sacral, that can also be connected. Overpowering, where you try to overpower other people, is another element of that excess.
King all narcissist.
Yes, for sure. Yes. No doubt about it. I think a lack of self-esteem is associated very strongly with this space. And I think that's the most common, is either that lack of self-esteem or that overcompensating over self-esteem, one way or the other.
That's true, because some vices I've noticed from people who are struggling in their solar plexus chakra, they're addicted to caffeine. because again, they need to get off on, there's a lack of vital energy, right? So they're over caffeinated. They're workaholics. There's something about having to control work, which is they feel the only thing that they really can control. They're workaholics. They work all the time. They're also tend to be perfectionists too.
Yes. I love those awarenesses because I think that's spot on. The workaholic aspect is yes. And same with the perfectionist. It's so true. It's that need to control and that need to feel like you have the ability to kind of determine how things go. To try to feel stable.
Do you have any personal experiences or stories about
solar plexus? I definitely have some personal stories. So I am a third child of a family of 3 children. And so I was the youngest and just kind of the one that just had to kind of go along with whatever was happening in the household. And because of that, there was a lot of, my mom just kind of controlled everything, made it easier for her, and it made things just move more smoothly. So it took me until I was a damn grown up to be able to take that sense of control back for myself. And it definitely took work. It definitely took me better understanding myself. And that's part of where the yoga practice really helped me to kind of move into that greater sense of confidence in myself. So for me, it manifested as a lack of confidence, and it manifested as mostly not even a lack of confidence, but a lack of direction, where I couldn't choose a path because I had always had somebody choose it for me out of convenience. And then finally it was like, okay, I'm ready to take that ownership back. And my whole life changed when I finally started to address that element. And it took me onto a completely different life path where I recognized that I have to be responsible for the life that I choose and own that. And very life-changing awarenesses in that space for me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing. That's very common. And I'm looking at the thread. A lot of people are like, holy shit. I resonate with that, low self-esteem until they're adults.
Absolutely.
Addiction to caffeine. You guys, This is normal. This is why this is my favorite chakra to work on, because 10 times out of 10, somebody, and like Lauren was saying earlier, it's fleeting. It's not, this is a permanently broken chakra that's never going to be. No, that's not what we're saying. 10 times out of 10, when if we have consistent clients, they're going to have something with their solar plexus chakra. Mm-hmm. It's life. Because again, this is about our assertiveness, our willpower. Things to balance this chakra. Again, you guys just remember you're worthy. You're worthy of knowing. You're worthy of loving. And when you remember that and also feel it in your whole being, you're really not an asshole. This is the most simplistic way to say it. When you know that you're worthy, then you know that you've got free will.
Yes.
And you don't assert it on other people. You're just not an asshole.
Exactly. And it's also the knowing that other people are worthy as well, and having that respect. And that's where the balance comes in, where you don't have to overpower other people because you feel secure enough in yourself to also respect somebody else's point of view, respect their own awareness. It doesn't mean take shit. It doesn't mean that. But finding that balance of knowing you're worthy, your opinions are valid, and then also respecting others, I think is helpful.
And I tell clients, and just especially from a psychological standpoint, if you focus on yourself, everybody else will take care of themselves. I.e., when you focus on I am worthy, you're going to naturally recognize that others are worthy too. You're going to naturally I'm not going to be aggressive. I'm going to be more assertive because you know what? I'm worthy. It's okay. It's okay.
Yes.
That aggression lowers when you develop that self-worth.
Yes. And then you also attract that awareness so that people recognize that you feel worthy of yourself, and then people respect you on another level. Yeah. And I think that's so important. It becomes more cyclical in our relationships.
Yeah. So much. I feel like we could talk about solar plexus days. It's so important. Some other things to you guys, if you are having a lot of even myself included, this is actually how I learned that I had major problems with my solar plexus chakra, digestive issues. A lot of people who suffer from irritable bowel syndrome, whether it's constipation or diarrhea, have issues. So in their solar plexus chakra, acid reflux, because remember, that's your gut. So take care of your gut health. Eating the food, so lots of bananas, apricots, pineapple, yogurt, because it has acidophilus in it, can help. Whole grains. If you're not lactose intolerant, down some cheese. Those are things that can really help. If you're into crystals, tiger's eye, sunstone, those are great crystals to have around you. The oils for the solar plexus chakra are my favorite because I love lemon. So lemons, any lemongrass helps. Peppermint, chamomile, those are some great solar plexus chakra helpers. And also, because it's the color yellow, go outside in the sunlight.
You read my mind.
Vitamin D.
Yes. And that's the element associated with it, which I think we forgot to touch on. And the element, so the element is the sun. And so sometimes just going out and sitting in the sun and feeling the power. I mean, we receive energy from the sun, and that is just the way it is. So when you are absorbing it, you're absorbing the vitamin D. I mean, our body needs that. So if you're somewhere dark, then, try to find other ways to get that light, the natural light, as much as possible.
True story. My last apartment, it was facing a courtyard. And so even when it was sunny, I did not get that much sun. I used to think I was a vampire. It's like, I love being dark. Dude, that screwed up not just my mental, not just I started getting sick, so I wasn't getting enough vitamin D, but I really noticed that my willpower, like I felt off. I was just like, you know what? I need to go outside and get in the sun more.
Yes.
And I started putting up more yellow, making sure that's when I got my yellow chairs, just making sure I'm getting enough yellow color in my life. So that's so true. We've got one more chakra to go through today. We're actually going to go through the entire heart chakra, but then we're going to go back through it again next week as a refresher, because this is like, what's wrong with the world? We need more heart chakra. So we're going to go through the heart chakra. Then we're going to open it up to questions. So my amazing moderators, if you guys can start, if there were some questions in the feed that I didn't see, if you guys can start gathering questions, if any of you guys want to ask the two energy nerds, we can definitely help. We're both trained energy healers, so we can remember, this is just as much science as it is not science. So we can actually, write prescriptions and actually help you and answer some questions about any of the chakras that you have. So let's go into the Anahata. The Anahata. This beautiful green color. Take it away, Lauren.
Yes. Okay. So the heart chakra. So why this chakra is the center is, first of all, of course, we all know that, we try to move from our hearts as much as possible. It's like you try to, get out of your head and get into your heart in major life decisions, because you want to feel really connected to what you're doing and what you're choosing. So our heart is also the middle. So we have 3 lower chakras and we have 3 upper chakras, and the heart is where those centers meet. So it is the center of our energetic body, and therefore it is where there's this pass through from the upper energy and the lower energy, and vice versa. Because the other thing that I don't think we touched on is the word chakra actually means wheel. And so what it means, it's like these spinning wheels of energy, and the energy moves in all directions, but the energy moves through all the 7 centers also in a circular motion. So it's moving from the root all the way up to the crown and then all the way back down. So as our heart center is in the middle, this is kind of our major pass-through point. So heart energy is, of course, we need, as you said, we need a hell of a lot more of the heart energy happening in this world, where we are able to feel more connected to ourselves in a way that we feel aligned, we feel that creative energy, we feel that powerful center, we feel our bodies, we feel all of that. And then it's moving in a cohesive way to allow this place of love and this place of connection within ourselves so that we are then able to tap into other people. So what's happening in the world right now is we're starting to recognize how interconnected we all are. It's really easy to kind of be in a bubble and think it's all about me. But right now it's like, oh, wait a minute. If I touch that person and they touch that person, you recognize those chains, and those chains are not only physical where we're, sharing germs, there is also an energetic connection between all beings. And the heart center is where we access that connection point, where we're able to recognize that we are all human beings moving through this shared life experience. Even if our situation is different, we are still all moving through a shared human experience.
We're all meat suits with this energetic body that's trapped inside of it.
Yes.
And people who struggle with their heart chakra, one thing that I always love to tell them, this is your house of love, compassion, openness, gratitude.
Yes.
This also is your house where grief. To me, I see more grief in the heart chakra than I do in any other chakra. This is your house of sharing. So people who are focused right now on the selfishness and the greed, I challenge them to flip a switch and open their heart chakra. Because if you choose to look at the love, the compassion, the openness, and the sharing, which is what I try to balance to be a realist, but to also see that, you'll notice how much more of that you'll see because you've opened, we're calling opening your heart chakra, being willing to open, to see the love. It doesn't necessarily mean giving love. It also means receiving the love that's out there in the world. A lot of deficiencies with heart chakra, clients that I've worked with are the most giving, loving, loyal people I've ever met, but so closed off because they're so afraid to allow love to come in because they're scared of being hurt. They're holding on to grief from my past hurt. Guess what? You're still a selfish asshole because you're not letting the love that other people are giving you come in. And guess what? You're not messing up karma and their karma as well because you're not allowing them to love. I mean, it's true.
It's true. I'm remembering when you called me out once when you.
Sorry.
You're like, I'm trying to help you, and you're messing with my karma right now.
That's right.
You were so dead on. I mean, it was so true. Where I was like, no, I don't need help. I can do it myself. And you're like, no, I'm going to help you. And I was like, thank God, thank you.
So it's grief. Grief is grief blocks. And I hate to say block because I don't ever like to. When I talk about chakras, it's never blocked and unblocked. I hate that word. It's, to me, overcharged or undercharged. It's deficient or it's overfilled, one or the other. But with the exception of the heart chakra, it can actually be blocked. And grief is one of the things that blocks your heart chakra. We'll get more into the heart chakra next week. I think this is a really good start. What I want to do too, before we forget, surround yourself with the color green, eat some broccoli, cabbage, greens, go hug roll around the grass, do something to kind of help open your heart chakra. Before we take questions, one thing I would do is ask if we can kind of go through, I have a cheat sheet here. Hopefully you can most of it. Some of the ways you can also help work through your chakras is by chanting. Now, for those of you who've seen What Love's Got to Do with It, and Tina's in the corner and she's chanting, and Ike walks in, he's like, crazy woman, what the hell are you doing? Not necessarily that deep level of tantric Buddha chanting. That's not what we're talking about. So take a deep breath. Not converting anyone. Actually, by chanting, we really are just meaning reciting, saying, opening your throat and saying out loud. Lauren, you have an amazing, you don't have to sing it, but talk through the first, these sounds that people can say. Oh, this is your homework assignment for next week, guys. Start opening your chakras. by chanting, by some of the notes that we've given you, what are some ways you can open your chakras? So Lauren, take us through the first few and how to pronounce these words.
So the root chakra is Lam, and a lot of times it's pronounced Lum. So it's spelled with an A, but it's usually more of like an U sound. So Lam is for the root, Vam is for the sacral, Rum is for the solar plexus, and Yum is for the heart space, like yum, yummy. When we get to the throat next week, we're talking about Hum for the throat. And then the upper two chakras, once you get to that place, it's Om, which is just kind of the universal sound. And Om, it's spelled O-M, but a lot of times it's pronounced A-U-M. So it's more of like an Om, like Om. So you can pronounce it that way. And you can just chant the word over and over again if you're comfortable chanting it. So that's just one way to access that energy and kind of tap into that center.
Awesome. So we'll open it up for a few questions, and then we'll end with, to help you with your homework assignment, a few resources that can help. Yeah. So I know I saw one question earlier about, and Lauren, I'll have you answer this one. Can visualization meditation help with restoring and balancing your chakras?
Yes, visualization meditation is one of my favorite tools. It's one of the things that I teach. As I said at the beginning, a lot of times in my meditation practice, which I led one last week, that is a chakra-based meditation where I take you through each of the energy centers and allow you an opportunity to kind of connect with that space. Not just on a mental level, not just on a physical level, but on that energetic wave of like just being more of your consciousness in that space. And as you just simply draw your consciousness, you visualize your energy in that space, you will create more flow in that space just from that action of visualizing. So if there's a certain space where you feel like you are lacking energy, that is a beautiful way to help kind of spur more movement, more flow in that space. Even just sitting with that, sitting with your eyes closed, thinking about your consciousness moving into that space. Maybe you visualize the color that we told you. Maybe you chant that word that we, the mantra, which is a bija mantra. It's a seed syllable that helps you to kind of access that point. But visualization meditation is a huge way. Yeah. Oh, there you go.
You can. I have two clients. No matter when I read on them, I've read on each of them 10 times. This card comes every time. It is the funny thing.
That is funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also on that same note, the chakra meditation that I did last Saturday is on my YouTube channel. So I would so check that out too.
There's links. I know our amazing moderators, Queen, Larry Girl, and Felix Caro have posted Lauren's YouTube channel, so please go check her out. Another question: can you have attachments or in your family? So I would say yes. We kind of got into that a little bit earlier. How trauma and traumatic events are passed through DNA. So I say attachments. I'm guessing the cords are kind of, whoever asked the question, are the same thing from your family, and it can be passed down, and it can cause some disruptions in your chakra. If you, what do you think?
Your phone cut out a little. I mean, your sound cut out. Yes, I definitely believe that energy can be passed down that way, and it can affect our energy system. Also, our parents, as they raise us, we are taking on their emotional energy centers in how we formulate our own centers. So that affects us not just from the epigenetic standpoint, but from the growth standpoint of if you grew up with just your mom, or you grew up with both parents, or just whatever your life situation is, or maybe you had a sister or an aunt who raised you, but whoever it is that was in your immediate awareness, maybe it was a foster parent, you are receiving kind of how they process their own energy as a little bit of a guide to how you will process your own. And it doesn't mean that it's going to determine completely, but those things will help affect how you are aware of your own centers and how those centers function. So it definitely will affect you.
It absolutely does. Sorry, my sound buffered. I was saying that I don't know, molecular DNA absolutely can.
Uh-oh. Did we lose Adrienne? Oh no. Hopefully she'll hop back on. But we're almost finished. Anybody else have any other questions while I'm still here, and hopefully she'll come back in just a moment? I don't know about the red thread bracelet. Ah, she's back.
Disrespectful ass internet. This never happens. I'm hosting a live stream. It does.
All good.
Red bracelets. I got this from a street vendor, a Buddhist monk who was attending a street carnival in Camden, London, in UK. It was blessed, but I noticed if there is an energy store near you, you can go to some online. Also check, depending on kind of what systems you can there with Reiki energy, whatever they may not. But I actually see them a lot of differences. You can start with, if you can't find one on Amazon that you like, then I would start with any kind of energy store that's got to a temple and look. Most any other questions, guys? I'm sorry that my internet keeps going wrong.
I saw one other question in the comments that I would love to touch on, which is closing chakras deliberately when you don't want them open, which I think is a really good question. So first of all, chakras are not either open or closed, which I think Adrienne definitely touched on, that it's more of they're all either deficient or excessive is a better way to touch on it, because we don't want all of our energy centers to be open. We don't want them all to be closed or whatever. So we just want to help direct energy is what I would say. So an example I love to use for this is like somebody whose heart chakra is fully open and they're always giving themselves and they're always kind of giving their energy to other people, and which is beautiful, but maybe they're not giving enough to themselves. So they would want to start directing some of that heart energy into the solar plexus. So there's a greater sense of recognition of taking care of yourself. And that would be the way to kind of help balance. So it's not about shutting a center down, but it's about redirecting and recognizing if one space is excessive, chances are one of the spaces nearby typically is going to be deficient. And you want to just help kind of redistribute where the energy is moving. And this comes back to visualization as another really powerful tool. Just visualizing your energy moving into that other space is a powerful tool.
And then to be aware of what chakras balance state, because that'll give you the heads up of like, hey, I'm insecure. I may need to push more energy down to my root chakra, things like that.
Yes.
We do have one more question.
Oh.
I want to answer. And to better
You're cutting out again.
Nice. Cat snatching hell. Which one's better for balancing chakras, essential oil or incense?
Oh, is that a question for me to answer? I'm an essential oil person.
No, it was for both of us.
Okay.
I was letting you answer first.
Yeah. Okay.
We're both going to be biased. I'm an essential oil person as well.
Yeah, I'm an essential oil person for sure. Essential oils come directly from plant matter. They are the life force energy of plants. And to me, there's nothing more sacred than what is grown on this earth. We are taking in all of the energy of that plant matter. Incense smells good, but it doesn't have nearly the same properties as essential oils. Essential oils have so many beneficial properties. They're healing on such a deeper level. They can do all kinds of amazing things. So definitely essential oils.
Exactly. I would agree too. And not all incense is created equal.
Exactly. Same with essential oils.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So just, I'm an essential oils girl. Whether you're using it topically, but be very careful, dilute it before you use it topically.
Yes.
And then you can get food grade, food safe oils. So I'm an essential oils person.
Yeah.
Bonnie, what was your question? Benny, I'm sorry. Benny, what was your question? So I'll make sure that your question got addressed. I'm pretty sure our amazing moderators caught it, but just to be on the safe side. Did we catch Benny's question? Yes, 5 paces. I'm about to karate chop StreamYards. My internet, somebody's throat chakra right now. Okay, we did. We got somebody. We got your question. Just check back through.
Oh yeah.
Of course, we got your question. Awesome. Yeah. Guys, to help with your homework assignment. So again, your homework assignment next week is how can you start helping to heal your own chakra? I put some resources in because what's a good class? Homework and resources, right? You need your textbooks. So I put some resources in the description in the link below. So one book that I absolutely love, and she actually has, she used to have a YouTube channel, but she hasn't posted in a while. April Fender has a book called Chakra Balance. It's really simple, easy to read, go-to guide. I put the link, the Amazon link. You can get it. I believe right now you can read it for free on Amazon on Kindle Unlimited for a while, or you can buy the hard copy for it's like $11. It's not very expensive. This goes into, again, what Lauren and I were talking about with the colors, what the chakras like in an imbalance state. It also gives you yoga poses for those of you crazy who like yoga. I'm not that girl, but it's a great book to kind of help get you. This is what I would call the basic guide, Chakras 101. This is a really good book. The next resource we have is life. This is, you can see, a pretty thick book. It's pretty intensive. But what's amazing about her work, and Lauren and I are both huge fans, this kind of takes you from chakras, beginner chakras, to kind of going a little bit more advanced, talking about what Lauren and I were kind of talking about today, more of the psychological and like that psychological aspect, how it affects all aspects of your life when your chakras are out of balance. So those are 2 really good resources if you want to learn more about chakras and get your chakras right and tight. Next session. Lauren, anything that you have that you want to add to our resources list?
Wheels of Life is such a beautiful book. Anna Dea Judith is one of my teachers. I've studied with her many times in person, and she's a psychotherapist. And so her viewpoint is so powerful in how this really truly affects us on a day-to-day basis, not just the like ethereal awareness of energy centers, but the concrete of like, what does this mean as my personality develops, and how can I, become the best version of myself? So to me, that's what this awareness is all about, is better understanding ourselves so that we can then be better versions of ourselves. So Anna Dea Judith is my girl. I love her.
Yep, I got to take a couple of her classes when she was at Dallas Yoga Center last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
We have that. So there you go. There's an who asked? Was it Queen who asked if we have homework? So no, that was Katie or Kate. No, Kate, there's no test next week. This is just your chance to go out and help heal yourself, guys. That's all Lauren and I want. It's just shit's real right now. We understand it's real. We want to equip you with the tools to help you navigate this ickiness right now. So that's it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please make sure you go to Lauren's channel and check her out. She's just so smart, brilliant person. So thank you, Lauren, so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Taking time out of your day. Guys, until next week, make sure that you're taking care of yourself so we can take care of others, so we can collectively take care of Mom Earth. Now that you know about chakras, you see all this is aligned, it's related.
Yes.
Go hug a tree tonight, guys. We love you. Take care. We'll see you next Thursday, same time, 5:30 Central. Bye. And thank you to the moderators, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.